Coast Salon Services roundtable discussion for COVID. You can tell by all of our masks that we are being very COVID safe here, and it is a time of COVID if you're hopefully watching this in the future and we're not wearing masks. But I think it's really a great time for us to have a discussion as an industry in the COVID crisis as to what works and what doesn't. I know many of us enter this industry thinking, I'm in a recession-proof industry. No matter what happens, war, we're fine. And all of a sudden we found out that we're not in a COVID-proof industry. None of us are. And you know what? We also found out that the disease doesn't care. But what I think is amazing about us as an industry is almost more than anybody else, we all want to come back. And we're really impacting our communities in huge ways just through touch, obviously with what we bring. But a salon is way more than touch. It's about finance, it's about being a salon owner, it's about education. So today, we have an amazing group of people to share with you today who are going to bring you insights and information because they are people who understand what it's like to own a salon and be profitable, what it's like to be a CFO for a salon and make sure it runs to be profitable, and then how we can get the education that not only inspires us but inspires our guests to build some great business. So let's start off with our panel today, and we'll introduce, we have Lindsay Levitt, who is a salon owner that is with us. We have Joe Stezzi, who is our CFO financial guru for us, who already has added some interesting stuff for us in our pre-conversations that we've had before. And we have Donna. And Donna is with us today. She's a salon educator with East Coast Salon Services, and she's going to bring us some insights into what's changing for salons. So why don't we start off with Lindsay? And Lindsay, what has changed for salons since COVID has hit?
I think I speak for pretty much every salon owner when you say pretty much everything. Salon vibe, the business, how many people you can have in the salon, protocols for sure.
Yeah, it from top to bottom, it seems to have changed for us. But is there anything that's like kind of working today for salons that's something that we could take from before and kind of adapt it in a new way?
For sure. Social media is definitely important. Sharing with our clientele, communicating what's going on, what kind of protocols you're taking to keep your clients safe. That's very important. You definitely need to focus on as much as you can, just being personal inside the salon and bringing the inside of your salon onto the front line because you're not able to do things the way you used to be able to do them.
So you're using social media as we did before to build business, but in new ways. And what I like about social media to build business is it's not something that's really financially heavy. It's not a financial burden to do. It's more of a time thing, correct?
That's for sure. Some salons have their own person that can deal with their social media because a lot of us are behind the chair. So I would definitely recommend to have an extra, maybe one of your receptionists take hold of that job or you yourself. You can also plan your scheduled posts, and that takes a lot of the pressure off of posting every day. There is, scheduling posts on Facebook, different posts, reaching different audience.
Awesome. We're going to come back to you for a little more specifics later, but I think what's really important about that is it builds business and it doesn't take a lot of dollars or pennies out of our dollars. And Joe, you've run some big salon groups. You now have a business that consults to other salons on how they can be profitable.
Yes.
But how has COVID changed the salon business?
Like Lindsay said, in many, many ways. But from a financial standpoint, you now have to understand that most places are running at 50% of capacity because of social distancing. And how do you now operate a business if the expenses, a lot of the fixed expenses remain the same? How is it that you survive on 50%? So you got to figure out a way to take that 50% of capacity and get at least 70%, 80% of revenue. And there's a lot of, I'm sure we'll share a lot of ideas today about how we can try to get to those levels.
But I know for a lot of salon owners before, they'd have salons maybe marginally profitable. They were really pulling it through with a lot of the work that the salon owner was doing and keeping it profitable. Today, it seems like we have to look at our business in a different way than before.
Yep.
So how did we look at it before and how should we look at it now?
Yeah, great point. Bottom line is I think salon owners in general have always driven their business on a top number, gross sales. How do I get more sales? How do I get more sales? And I don't want to say they don't look at the expense part of it, but they feel like if I drive my sales, I'll cover all the expenses. I think we gotta look at it, we gotta reverse that. You know, we have to go, rather than top down, it's bottom up management. So we're looking at the expenses now. How do we look at every expense and decrease it so that we can live and survive on less revenue? Perhaps we should have been doing it all along.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a different world where the money's coming in, you can look at the world a little different. Gotta change our viewpoint right now.
Yeah, you know, so many businesses before were barely profitable, if not almost charities. And today, if we're not looking at those numbers as a business owner, that's what's causing so many salons to go under so fast, when it's really just looking at your numbers and understanding where the pennies go and what can we do with them to make them work.
That's right. I mean, the bottom line, if you were break even or a small profit before at 100% volume, now at 70% volume, you know, you're losing money. And let's face it, no business can lose money for too long and survive.
Absolutely.
But you can be smart and look at your business differently.
Yeah, and I know one of the things that as a salon owner and a stylist myself, I have ended up with a lot of time. And as an educator, I was never used to having time. Education has changed a lot. You know, I know I can't get educators in the way I used to before, but I know there's still great education out there. So, Donna, how is education changing today?
So, Patrick, COVID completely changed the landscape of how we approach to support hair salons, and especially in education. What we did at East Coast is we all ventured into new territories. It was very unfamiliar to us, and we became very versed at virtual education.
Okay.
And so what we did is we did presentations that were live via Zoom, and we also did very concise pre-recorded videos that are available. We have a whole library on YouTube that hairstylists can actually access anytime at their convenience. They go onto YouTube and type in the search bar East Coast Salon Services. We also had quick tips and tricks, and so we just really saw this as an opportunity to really kind of stand up and stand behind all of our hairdresser friends and salon owners and take this opportunity to, why not learn more during this downtime to help stay inspired and creative, and sometimes even sharpen your knowledge and your techniques so that you're very excited going back into the salon.
The other thing I loved about the videos is I'd see people in like their living room.
Yes.
And I also felt like when I watched the educators' videos, unlike ones I've made in the past where you had green screens behind you and like Star Wars things going up, I felt more connected to the educators, which made me even want to have an experience with them that's COVID safe even more.
Yes.
Not that I felt like, oh my gosh, if this person came in, I would feel like, oh! Yeah, I felt like this would be somebody that come in I could learn from and be their friend, and they could be my friend at the same time. And I think it's evolved education to a really good new place, and East Coast is really leading this.
I was so impressed. I mean, we did not hesitate. I mean, very quickly got the phone calls, like, you're going to start doing videos. And it's like, well, I'm not sure how to do that, but we're totally supported. I was so impressed with the way East Coast handled everything.
And that gives us much more of a personal connection to education. And I think, Lindsay, that's one of the things that you were sharing that's been effective with you, with social media, is that, like, you do these planned posts, like 3 or 4 of them a day.
Yes.
But you were sharing, like, you've got kind of a formula or a way you do this in a way that can make it really personal.
Yeah, right now we have to definitely be connecting with our clients. And I think a lot of people didn't do that very well during COVID. And clients got upset. They wanted to be in. When am I going to get in? When is the hair salon going to open? But what you do have to do is you can't be posting the same exact thing all the time. So usually we focus, 25% on maybe a special that we're running that week, 25% on maybe a hairstylist that is, has openings that week, some education, maybe some quick tips, a stylist using a product, showing a tip, things like that. And, we can even share videos that we use from Kevin Murphy or Baco that I find off the internet and use that to engage with our clients.
Awesome. But do you also share like personal stuff? Like do you get team members or even guests who maybe have something that's a little bit more personal post that you put up there?
Yeah, for sure. Personal is the best, actually. When you look at your insights on your Facebook page, you can see where you're reaching clients. And when we put personal things, they're usually the most important. We just had some stylists that had some babies.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we posted that, pictures of the babies, pictures of their dogs at home, pictures of, anything anybody was doing on quarantine, we included that. And
Cool.
people love that. It kept them connected.
Awesome. And then personal, that, numbers are never personal. Numbers honestly don't care, but sometimes there's people connected to numbers. And I know for me as a salon owner, I've gone to business things and like my rent should be this much and my payroll should be that much, but I'm looking at the numbers and they're not there. Is there anybody that I could talk to that might be able to help me out with some of my numbers? Is there anybody you recommend?
You mean as a consultant or as a...
Or like, do I go to my landlord? Do I go to my insurance people? Do I go to my vendors? Like, what do you recommend as
What you need to do is you need to take a look at your expenses and decide which expenses can you have any control over. A couple of things you can do is, one, you got to look at your capital users. I'll define a capital user as someone who doesn't necessarily bring income to you, but is a need. Assistants, porters, front desk, certainly needed. But what happens is, let's say revenue goes down to a 70% level. A lot of times we never change the hours that we're putting out for those people. Naturally, there's going to be a loss there. So you have to look at that and say, okay, how can I adjust these hours relative to the revenue that's coming in? That's one thing. The other thing you can do is I would go to my landlord. And I think that, we gotta take this thing in segments, like 6 month segments. Next 6 months, nobody knows. Well, so we better assume that it's going to be something similar to where we are today. So I would go to my landlord and I'd ask them, I'd say, listen, I understand, you don't want to abate any rent. Would you defer some rent? Would you help us get through this very difficult time? And we'll take that savings, whatever it might be. If you can get a 25% savings, if you can get a 50% savings, we'll take that and we'll defer it to a period of time later on, a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever. The landlord will be made whole at one point, but right now is when we need to help. There is another place in insurance, workman's comp insurance. Your premium is based on last year's payroll. And we all know our payroll is going to be substantially down this year. We lost a couple of months, 3 months, with no payroll, right? So we can go to our workman's comp insurance people and we can say, listen, we'd like for you to take a look at what our payroll is going to be this year, and hopefully they would issue you a credit or give you a refund of money. So there's just a couple of areas you can look at right off the top to either save or get more money or create that bottom-up approach.
Absolutely, very cool. I think as business owners, so many of us, we knew that there was enough money in the bank, but really didn't pay attention to where all those percentages and those dollars are going. And today we really have to, if we don't understand it ourselves, get somebody who can come in and help us understand what we need to be paying attention to. Because in the same way that if I want to take a haircutting class, I'm going to take it with a haircutting master. If I'm going to take a thing on finance, I will need to find a finance master. And even more important, somebody who understands the salon industry, because our finances are different than other industries. Isn't that correct?
It's a very unique industry. Very unique. And it's funny, 1% is a lot of money, If you're $1 million salon, let's just say, right, 1% is $10,000. 2% is $20,000. 3% is $30,000. It looks like a very small amount, but it adds up, and it's 100%. Probably one of the challenges of the salon industry is when you bring in $1, you never get that dollar as an owner. But by the time it gets to you, there's 60 cents gone. I pay my service provider, I got to pay for supplies, I got to pay for payroll taxes. All of those things, and all of a sudden we got 40 cents left to pay for whatever else is available. It's a very unique industry, and I think if you pay a little more attention, that 1 or 2% is the difference between thriving or surviving.
Yeah. And, Donna, when it comes to education, I always think that education obviously is a great way to bring in new dollars into the business.
Right.
And I'm gonna say something. You got something in your hair today that I think.
I do.
Yeah. And I, what do you have in your hair that was a surprise when you walked in this morning?
So since the last time I saw Patrick, I have Amplify extensions. It's new to East Coast Salon Services, and I was so excited that I matched up. It's a pretty even match, what did you say?
It's amazing. I mean, I was with you like last week, and when you came in, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at her hair. But, you know, that's a type of education that you can get for yourself in your salon about how to introduce or bring extensions into a salon. And what I love about extensions, when it first came out, everybody just wanted hair down to their toes.
Right.
But now people just want one or two of them, pop them in for maybe fun or fullness.
Exactly.
And that can really change both what a salon can offer to guests, and at the same time, it's a huge ability to raise revenue, correct?
And you can really increase revenue, and depending on everybody's budget, like you said, and have something that's affordable and just volume. A lot of times, women might have breakage around their face or in her hair, and just, you know, a couple extensions, which will take 15 minutes, it's $100 increase. It's quick and easy, and I have to tell you, it's a confidence booster as a woman too.
That's amazing. And reusable too, right?
It's so reasonably cost. It's so reasonably cost. The swatches, the quality of the hair with the Amplify is really unlike any that I've seen. I've never had them myself, but I've seen other extensions.
Yeah.
So natural feeling. My fiance even said, "Oh my gosh, it feels just like your hair."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's for salon owners, we can look to education to find new ways, not only for the guests. I think, you know, guests are always excited. They want to spend more than sometimes the stylists even want to recommend. But when we can bring something in that gets everybody excited about something new that they can offer, that's a great boost to creativity. And I think right now, Lindsay, you know, creativity in the salon, I know for me, it was tough at the beginning. I was excited to see the guests, but the mask, you know, here I went to school for all these years on face shapes and how they bone structures and skin tone, and they come in and it's like Karl Lagerfeld, where almost everything's covered except for a little bit of skin. How have you been using the successes that you've been having in social media to keep this going? Because you're being successful right now.
Yes.
So what are you doing? What would be the number one thing that you'd recommend for people to continue to do that you're doing already?
So just, you know, using your social media to get people in your chairs. If you see that a stylist is not busy, look a week out, 2 weeks out. You don't want to overpost because then it looks like you're desperate.
Yeah.
But you do want to take, you know, you don't want to name the times, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. More so you want to just say, you know, Alicia's here and she has, you know, a 12:30 and a 1 o'clock for color today. Or, you know, a 12:30 and a 2 o'clock available if anybody needs it. That was really important in the beginning with COVID.
Yeah.
When we were so booked up, we couldn't get anybody in.
Yeah.
We do that a lot. Like, last minute appointment at 2 o'clock today, and we fill that spot for weeks.
That's
you know,
awesome.
now it's getting a little tougher because things are kind of going back to normal, but you still want to definitely, you know, let your clients know when you have availability.
And you shared something with us right before we went on camera that I'm going to bring up, because you pointed out to us today happens to be the first day after Labor Day, and kids have gone back to school, and some kids haven't gone back to school.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden, the moms that used to be able to come in while their kids are at school are now at home homeschooling.
Yeah.
So you had an idea of maybe even making like a little mom thing?
Yeah, we definitely have to focus on moms. They're going to need a lot of help during this catastrophe, and you know, maybe like a happy hour for them after virtual learning, because everybody knows that they're going to need a little detox. So we're doing like a mom detox from 3 to 5. Come in the salon and maybe add a little special for them.
That's awesome.
Just to really focus on certain people right now. We did a lot with essential workers in the beginning. Same kind of thing with moms.
The thing I like about taking care of moms is we know when we take care of moms, the whole family becomes better. You know,
That's for sure.
when they feel great, it's just a wonderful way. And I hadn't realized that until you sat down here today, even as a father of daughters that were going back to school, that yeah, it is different today with now moms can't come in like they were before, and it's the first chance that we're hitting that. So I think that's a great tip for everybody to take away, because not something we've been dealing with through COVID yet, and it's a new opportunity for us to build our business.
Yeah, I'm focusing on kids' haircuts. You know, even though the kids aren't going back to school, they still need to look good, you know, with the Zoom. So that was a big transition as well.
Awesome. So Joe, is there anything that you'd say to a person who right now feels like I'm desperate? You know, we have people right now who are trying to tread water to get through this. Is there anything that you would say to them to look at to start to get them swimming, to be maybe a little bit more financially either secure or to start getting that bottom line to be a little bit better?
Well, the things we talked about already expense-wise, but also if you want to look at your top line for a second, find other sources of revenue that may not have existed prior to that. You know, retail's a great place to maybe source it out, you know. Another place is, it's interesting, if you looked at let's say you had a 10-chair salon, and you open 70 hours a week, that means you have 700 potential hours behind that chair. Maybe before you had 400 hours of people standing behind the chair. So now you're at half of that. So now you have 350 hours. What you have to do is be able to figure out, do I need to do shifting? Do I need to, because now, with 400 or 700, now you got 350. You want to get 350 hours of people behind the chair. You're going to have to look at the world a little differently. Before, where somebody had an 8-hour shift, they want to come in, work 9 to 5, you're open till 8, sure, no problem. Well, now you got 3 hours, and, you know, you're not going to put somebody behind the chair for 3 hours. So you may have to look at it differently. Maybe I have to run shifts 9 to 2, 2 to 8, so that I get full capacity. You know, and I think that's another way to look at it. Potential hours, fill in them as much as you can, because the potential hours have dropped off.
Awesome. And one of the things that I just found out about that I'm so excited about as a salon owner, I brought in some new products into my salon, brought in some Kevin Murphy products, brought in some Baco hair color, and I have now found out that I can actually offer my guests through East Coast Salon Services that they can purchase their products from me through an online source.
Yes.
How does this work, Donna? We got finance in here. This is perfect.
Well, it's neat because to parlay off of what Joe was saying about generating some extra revenue that is COVID friendly,
Yeah.
East Coast created a consumer direct, which allows their clients to get their retail professional products through you. East Coast even designed an image. If people go on to eastcoastsalon.com, stylists, they want to learn more about this, you can go eastcoastsalon.com down to the blog. Right below yours, it's April 4th. There's a whole write-up about this and how it works, but it's very easy for your customers to get products that you carry, and even more, say your client needs a blow dryer or a curling iron, it lists the retail price. All they have to do, Patrick, is let you know what it is exactly what they want with the item number. You place the order, invoice your client, and East Coast bills you as normal without you having to carry that inventory in your salon. So it's a great way for you to have revenue to your salon as added income, and also for your guests, they don't even have to leave the convenience or the safety of their home at this time.
And like Joe said, another way to put money in our top line and to keep money in our pocket that's not sitting on the shelves, because now I can have a limited inventory for me and know that I have an unlimited inventory for my guests.
I love that, unlimited inventory. That's exactly what it is.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So I think, we have had a very short period of time to share with you from 3 very, very talented and very smart people to share with you how you can take a look at your finances, you can take a look at what education can offer you, and you can find out how to use social media as a salon owner to build your business and to stay profitable. And this has been a wonderful opportunity for East Coast Salon Services to share our first expert roundtable. And we hope that we have brought you some insight that's going to have you not just surviving during COVID, but thriving as we continue to move forward and heal as a country, as a world, and as a people, as we learn to deal with COVID and get back to making our world and our community beautiful again. And thanks to East Coast for having us all here today.
Thank you.